I have been waiting for 2 years for this. If you want to know what the heck I'm talking about, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and I am so excited to share my joy with you today. I'm over the moon, and I've been waiting to film this video. I wanted to make sure I was in just the perfect mood to share this with you. I feel like I'm sharing a really fun situation for myself that I really want to share with folks who I think will understand where I'm coming from. I try to explain something like this to my husband and his eyes glaze over and he's like, uh-huh. Or friends of mine who would not be into makeup like I am. Oh, it's okay. It is officially Christmas in mid-October. I'm telling you this. I have to feel this excited about all makeup purchases, and if anything, this is a good reminder of how good a purchase should feel in order for it to have a lasting effect on usage and continued enjoyment of a product. And I think I'm going to use this video actually just as a reference for myself as well, of the kind of excitement and preparation and consideration that a purchase should get when we bring something into our collection, especially when we already have a fair amount of makeup. Before I get into the stack that I showed you in the teaser, I want to give you a little bit of an update on another palette. And the palette I want to update you a little bit on is this. Now this one, I did a swatches video, I did a first impressions video, and now I just want to bring this palette up one more time. It's going to come up more, but what I mean is one more time in the short term, because it is what I have on my eyes today. And if you watched my first impressions video, you would know that I identified a couple of things. I liked the look. The look was fine. It was very nice. But I identified that for specifically my absolute preferences, I would like to deepen up the outer lid, which I did today, and to get a little bit more depth in the eye, and for me anyway, a little bit more contrast between the inner to center lid and the outer lid. I did not put anything from Make Believe in Yourself on the outer lid, and the only shadow that I used today is Trance. This is the shadow I used, and I think hopefully the light has, or the camera has adjusted. I really, really like the way it turned out. It's kind of like beigey bronze smoky eye, I guess is the way that I would qualify it or describe it. I really like it. I looked at it a couple times in the mirror today and just thought, yep, this looks pretty good. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you want to see more looks with this palette, please don't hesitate and let me know if there's a specific color that is of particular interest that you would like me to sport at some point in time. And yeah, I will endeavor to do so. This is a palette that I had my eye on for quite a while, and when it got cleared out on the Tarte website, I was very pleased to just by accident find it, because it was one of those palettes, you know how you've got palettes, if you're a makeup lover, palettes in the back of your mind that you kind of go, ooh, I think it's gone, but if ever it pops back up and it's on sale, I would be delighted. It would be a wonderful surprise. Well, this ended up being a wonderful surprise, and I'm really enjoying using it. If you have it in your collection and you haven't used it for a while, I would highly suggest you crack it back open. And I'm not going to try to offer any spoilers, but there may be some palettes in that set of 4 palettes I showed you earlier that are in the same boat, where I was able to get something that I was starting to wonder if I would end up having in my collection. I think that's a good segue. Let's get into the pile of palettes, shall we? First, I want to start off with something that was in my collection for a while, and that is the Tarteist Pro Glow. And I mentioned this one right up front because, oh, I keep forgetting about the mirrors, because it is right now during the Sephora Weekly Wow. It's a really, really great price. What is in here is there is a sculpting powder, a contour, a cream contour, and then 4 highlighters. And all of these products are very nice. The sculpting powder is nice and cool, gives you a very nice contour. The cream product I have no trouble using. The only trouble with cream is that sometimes the highlighter dust gets into it, but I don't find so far that it's been a big deal. And I really appreciate this highlighter right here called Stunner. Very, very nice palette. Like I said, I've had it for a while and it was one of my very early purchases and I really like it. And you probably could tell from the dust in the palette that I use it. And then I talked about this in an earlier video some months ago. There was it was I think my mid-year for the no buy that is now defunct, that I ended up getting this palette, the Tarteist Pro Remix, during the Memorial Day weekend sale, and which is interesting because Memorial Day is not a thing in Canada, but there was a sale, so okay. And it was half price. And I decided to get it because it is a set of colorful shadows. I'm not crazy about the layout. I like the robustness of the packaging. It's fantastic. Not crazy about the layout. The round pans that have no rhyme or reason to the square they're a little weird, but I realized that they were reusing the Tarteist Pro packaging, and I think that that's a smart thing to do. It's a very sturdy packaging, and I don't mind it. I don't mind it. The colors are just a little weird, but again, I was really impressed that Tarte was getting into color. That said, this was trying to fill a void for another palette that I really, really wanted, but that I had on multiple occasions missed when it was at a price point that I would be okay with. What might I be talking about? This is the one that I've been waiting for 2 years, and that is no exaggeration. And it is the Tarteist Pro. I'm still a little bit shocked that it has come into my collection, but I am over the moon. Let me show you the palette. I am sure you have seen this palette many times, but I will show you anyway. And here is the outer packaging. And the inside, you just hold it this way. And the inside is the same, of course, as the Pro Remix because it's the same layout. And in this case, all of these are mattes and these are for shimmer / metallics. I don't know what they are exactly because I haven't used them yet. I really enjoy the Tarte formula and this palette, and I like mattes. I really do like mattes to set a base on an eye look, and to have 16 mattes of very different colors makes my heart sing. I really enjoy the opportunity to have access in one palette to so many mattes of all sorts of different colors. The part of why I like the Smashbox matte exposure is because of that. So many mattes in one spot, but here I feel like I've got more variety of hues than the matte exposure. And the shimmer colors here, some duochromes, I was excited to play with as well because I like the formula of the shimmers from Tarte. And what was the initiator for this was the Tarteist Pro To Go. Let me just pull that palette out for a second. Here it is. I have talked about this palette so many times on this channel about how much I love the formula in this set of shadows. It is my go-to when I am traveling. It comes with me almost every single time. And every time I use this palette, I kept thinking, gosh, what would the Tarteist Pro be like? What would the Tarteist Pro be like? Because I've loved everything in here, and I just knew in my gut that the Tarteist Pro, not Protego, would likely be as high up in my ranking as this little guy. Gosh, it's good. It's so good. And now I look at this one and I go and look at the colors. I know I'm showing this palette so often. I go into the colors and I don't see anything that I would not use as enthusiastically as the Protego. Nothing here feels like it wouldn't be an obvious color to have in this palette, which makes me so excited. And if you haven't heard this already, in this case, the organization is very deliberate. Each row is a color story that works in and of itself. So if you're not wanting to be creative in a given day, you just want to get an eye look that's going to look very nice, you follow the rows and you're good. To me, this is a very, very well designed, well thought out, and attractive palette in all senses of the word. So for me to have wanted a palette for 2 years, wanted a palette for 2 years, it just had to be the right price point for me. And now to finally have it in my collection, it feels absolutely wonderful. And I would say that I'm also feeling very, very strongly about this one too. So this has been a really good month for me, last 3-4 weeks that I've been able to get those couple of purchases. And it feels really, really good. And the reason for that palette coming on just a little over half off was Tarte's 19th birthday. And so a lot of stuff was on sale. I didn't get the Make Believe in Yourself during that time, that was before. But during that week, there was a lot that was available, and I resisted a whole lot. When I saw that Tarteist Pro was available, I picked it up, and I also took advantage of picking up the sister to my highlight and contour palette, the what's it called? The Pro Glow. This is now the Pro Glow and blush. So to me, this is a sister palette to the other one. And these, here they are side by side. They're virtually identical. It's a little bit of an updated package on the other one, which makes sense because the pink, the flashy pink, identifies that it's a blush. And let me show you that palette. And of course there's plastic in it. So there are mirrors. I'm going to just fold the mirrors back for you and show you the blushes. And so you can see that there are a few highlighters and a bunch of blushes in there. And I like the fact that we've got a more kind of corally rose, a corally pink, I should say, a peach, kind of burgundy with a little bit of gold reflex in it, a very deep blush bronze down here, and finally a definite highlighter up top. And I was really pleased with that because there's this set from Tarte. I think it's $49 Canadian, 45 or 49. I'll put the image of it and the price on the screen. And that would have been 9 pans. And I look at this, and to me, I like the fact that it's one item to open up and look at. I don't have a problem with blush palettes. And for me, this was a lot more cost effective. I think I paid $25.50 Canadian for this set of 6. And so I like the idea that I paid about $4.50 or so per pan in here. It's a very affordable price. And for me, it follows the aesthetic of now a lot of what I have from Tarte. So this feels very organized, very deliberate, definitely very thought out. I had thought about the blush palette for quite a while as if I get the Tarteist Pro, I would really like to enhance my Tarte blush collection with the Tarte blush palette. I thought it was a good enhancement to the highlighters that I already have from that brand. And frankly, the only one that I'm not as jazzed about is this one. And it's funny because when I look at it, it is obviously a palette for me. The only thing that I can think of is the fact that there wasn't that thought out pattern of usage like there was in the original. And the fact that the round pans, I wish that there had been a purpose, a clear purpose for the round pans. Maybe these four should have been the duochromes in the palette. Maybe they are. I don't think that's the case. But I will play with it quite a bit. I've only put my fingers into a few of them. And I really need to give this one a decent exploration. But it was a little bit of a strange release. Now, what I do like about it is that it expands a great deal the amount of shimmers available. It can sort of be a standalone palette because it has 3 mattes. There are a couple right here, and there's the black over on that side. But I really think that is more of a partner palette with the original Tarteist Pro, and it just solidified the fact that I was eventually going to get the Tarteist Pro at the right time. At some point, the stars would align and it would get into my collection. So it feels kind of surreal now to have the Tarteist Pro. It's almost like I don't want to touch it, which is absolutely silly. I really need to swatch it and play with it and just get a feel for it. So you can expect a swatches video of that palette sooner than later on this channel. And actually, to be frank, a set of swatches, I think, of the 4 palettes trickling through in different videos. And I've asked it before, and I'll ask it again, if you think that you would like to see a second brand new focus on Tarte. I would definitely consider that. It would probably take me a couple of weeks of looks to be able to do it and complete it. In some way, shape, or form, a bunch of these palettes are going to show up. I am especially excited because they are all available to you. A number of the palettes I use, I realize, are not available anymore, but these 4 are, and that's part of my excitement and interest in doing another brand new focus. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm not 100% sold on it. I can guarantee you I'll do some swatches, that I can say. But I would like to get your input either way on how you're thinking about that. The bottom line of this video is not just to say, oh, I got this and I got this, I got this. What the video is really about, and going back to the beginning of it, is just the reminder of the power of staying interested in a makeup product, a creative product, for 2 years. There is no hype anymore. It's just a product that every time I looked at it, I thought, I can see so much how I'm going to use this. I can see it being such a good fit for me. And thinking about it, it comes back to mind on a regular basis, unprompted, wondering about it, dreaming about it. And I'm not talking about dreaming in the kind of way, but just kind of it being part of my thinking when I consider what makeup out there do I think is a really good fit, would fit me like a glove as a creator of eye looks. And that Tarteist Pro just kept coming to mind. And when I saw that it was available to me within the parameters that I was willing to work with, it just reinforced that was exactly a purchase that I wanted, and that the feeling of zero guilt, zero apprehension, zero anxiety about the purchase, zero. I just knew that is exactly what I wanted to do, and I couldn't get it here fast enough. And it's the kind of feeling I want every time I make a purchase. That's what it comes down to. And that really waiting and considering a purchase, if that's what it takes to make me feel the way I feel about the palette, actually the two palettes, I'm going to say I feel very good about the blushes as well. I think that has to be a benchmark for me. That has to be the way I think about a palette for it to come into my collection. There has to be something about it, the curation of it, the layout, the quality of the shadows. It has to be the right recipe for me to want to bring it in, especially when it's a palette that is, I think it's 65 or 66 Canadian regular price. It's just, it has to be considered, evaluated, and especially if it's a permanent product. Actually, no, scratch that. Whether it's permanent or limited edition, there has to be some consideration of how or if it fits, and on how or if I would end up using it. I hope this wasn't too rambly. I am super excited, and at the same time it gives me a lot to think about for how I am bringing in makeup into my collection in the future. And this whole thinking about it when I saw it, when I purchased it, and when I was waiting for it to get here, it really gave me a lot to think about. Okay, at this point I am repeating myself. Let me know in the comments about the brand new focus. Please let me know in the comments as well what you think about the purchase. How do you go about sorting and deciding and waiting and evaluating when you make makeup purchases? I would love to hear. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for being willing to let me share this little moment with you. And I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.